organizing the faculty workshop. We're delighted to be here. And I know that Gabriela Esteves, which is our director of study abroad, she has a different title. It's longer, but it's study abroad. She's put this together along with Tori Dade and Emily Senden, who are two of the faculty members that have led programs abroad every year. And the way that we're going to start this, both Emily and Tori will be here at 12:30, but we decided because they're teaching, and we decided to start off with Christian Alyea, who is one of the co-founders of SAA, and they are one of the providers that we use for our study abroad. So it's going to kind of go a little bit backwards, but I think that it's going to work because he will kind of give you the information on how to build a study abroad proposal or program using a third-party provider. Okay, so Christian, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? Perfect, perfect. Thank you for your time, first of all, and secondly, thank you for showing your interest in leading faculty-led programs. You guys are really the most important part to this entire process, and you know already the importance of the programs and how much it means to the students as well as to the professors that lead them. So we're very grateful for you guys, and I just wanted to let you know from the beginning, our mission with Study Abroad Association is to assist you in every way possible to help you bring your program, your dream program to life. For us, it's about getting more students and faculty having these experiences. So we're happy to help in any way. We do a lot of these workshops, and I hope that you leave with a lot of new information today, therefore making your programs more successful and to make it much simpler along the path. So with all that said, let's get started. You guys can jump in at any time. Please do not hesitate to ask any questions about anything. Just to give you a little background story, we started in 2009. After Leonardo, the co-founder, and myself, we both had our own extensive study abroad experiences, but I was actually an exchange student when I was 15. I stayed with his host family. That's when we first met. And then we went on our own exchanges and study abroads after that. And in 2009, we decided that we wanted to start offering these programs mainly to community colleges to provide programs that are more financially within reach of students, affordable, and in addition, more in-depth, more authentic programs that really a lot of experiential learning. So that's why we started this in 2009. And currently we're working with around 150 community colleges and universities across the country, many of which are in Florida, Valencia College, Miami-Dade, and about 15 others. So let's get started. Basically, this is what we're going to cover today. Just a short overview, kind of from the beginning to the end, the A to Z, what's essential from the first idea of I want to take students abroad to you've had your entire experience to bringing them back home, and every step in between, and how to really, optimize every step to ensure a quality program. This is all based off of best practices of all the institutions that we work with. We researched, we compiled all this information, and we found out what works and what for schools that are, that take a lot of groups abroad, have a lot of students going abroad, what they do, and we compiled all that information together into this. Yeah, so I'm going to send this to everybody that attends. I'll send you an email of the recorded link as well as the PDF presentation so you can refer back to it later on at any time, okay? But most importantly, faculty is the engine. You guys are in the room right now. You're the most important part of the entire program. So what we want to do is find out, first of all, who's interested in leading these programs, because it's not for all faculty, because it is a lot of work. But it's the most amazing experience that, that you can have with your students. We've had a lot of faculty that have run, over a dozen programs around the globe, and year after year, their programs make because they're passionate about it. They're excited about it, and they understand the importance of it. So that's the first thing, is to engage with you guys today and to really listen to you and understand what your goals are and what you're trying to achieve. After that, we want to work with you to go over safety briefings, to talk about logistics on ground, how we can help, everything like that. Get you connected with our on-ground operations and the teams, and support you in the way of making sure that your program is successful, and that we take away as much of the work that you don't want to handle, the logistics, all these kind of things, and let you focus on what you're passionate about, the teaching, the engagement with the students. And we take away all that other stressful things so you can go relax and allow the destination that you're visiting to become the classroom. Okay. So once again, thank you guys for coming in today. So optimal timeline. With faculty-led study abroad programs, especially with community colleges or any schools for that matter, getting started early is absolutely essential, okay? So you guys can adopt this timeline. If it works with Miami-Dade, I hope it does, because it's successful. If you start 18 months to 12 months prior to departure, which right now that'd be looking at like kind of next 2021 spring break, for example, or further into the summer, or even winter break for that matter, but really deciding where you want to go, what program you want to offer to the students, allowing you to finalize all that. So that way, you know, around 12 months, 1 year before, you can really start with promotion. By doing that, by starting a year in advance, you're going to really guarantee the success of your program. It allows the students adequate time to save up. They can have installment payments, etc. And it allows time to get the word out and take care of all the logistics. So you can go through all of the hoops through, you know, the administration sets up for finalizing your proposals, for making sure that your syllabuses are complete, for providing all of the information that you need to provide in that packet, that study abroad packet. It gives you adequate time to do that, okay? Normally around 3 months prior to departure, 100 days prior to departure, that's when your group reaches like the cutoff point where we say, okay, we're gonna have this amount of travelers going, and we say, okay, let's decide if the trip's gonna happen or not gonna happen. Our goal is to make sure that your trip happens every time. You've invested time, you've invested energy into making the proposals and you know, coming up with ideas for the syllabus. We want to make sure that your program happens, and we're going to show you how we do that a little bit later. And then 1 month prior, we like to get everybody in a room like this, the entire group, and have a pre-trip orientation. Okay, this is absolutely essential. We cover all of the basics, all of the smart travel advice, everything like this, go day by day through the itinerary. So that way the students know exactly what to expect, and we can avoid a lot of issues. So this is an optimal timeline right here of kind of what will work successfully and guarantee the success of your faculty-led program, okay? Move down here. So choosing destinations, where, when, why, okay? It's important to decide, obviously, where you're gonna take your group. Is it safe? Are there any travel advisories at the moment? Is it cost effective? Is it within budget of the majority of your students? Is it popular among students? And does it compete with other programs on campus? Okay, this is important to look at whenever you're deciding where you want to take your group to, yeah? At the same time, when do you want to take your group there? Are you making your program in conjunction with a special event that's taking place? For example, if you're a theater professor, are you taking your group for the Fringe Theater Festival in Edinburgh? Or are you taking them, you know, for any special event, a food event, a cultural event that's taking place around a certain time? Or do you need to avoid any time periods when there might be extreme weather? For example, you know, we've had professors who've wanted to take their groups to India, for example, in June or July. That's the monsoon season. It's extremely hot. It's, you know, a lot of rain. It's quite uncomfortable. So deciding when you want to take your students abroad, regarding prices, if it's high season, and regarding climate, stuff like this, is essential to look at. And then lastly, why? Why do you want to take your students to this location? Is it important to your class? Which the majority of the time, the answer is yes. So our goal is to help make the field, the destination that you're visiting, your classroom. So you don't have to actually spend that much time lecturing during your program, because the field becomes your classroom, and you can easily incorporate and satisfy all of your contact hours through the day-to-day activities, through experiential learning. That's our goal, to help you do that, to bring your syllabus to life. Long story short. Do we have any questions about that? Are we good to keep rolling?
Keep going. Yeah.
All right, cool. So customizing your program, guys, this is the most important thing that, you know, whoever you go with, whoever you work with, be it a third-party provider, be it a local provider, or if it's just something you want to organize yourself, please make sure that you customize the program and that you don't settle for a generic program that you're not extremely excited and passionate about. You have the opportunity to really make a itinerary 100% yours, to put in the time and to allow your classroom to come to life. So it is your trip and you're investing the energy and the time into it. It should be done your way. So, you know, there are many companies that will help you to build it 100% customized around your goals, and you deserve that. And that's the way that it should be done. Things to keep in mind whenever you're customizing your program is the length of the program. Okay, so you have to look at your student body. Is your student body, are they working students? Do they have multiple jobs? Do they have families? How long can the students, how long can they typically be gone away from home for an extended period of time? Okay, it's important to look at that, because if you organize a program that's a 4-week long program, right, it's going to be an amazing experience for sure. It's going to be very in depth. It's going to be complete immersion. However, if you have a 4-week long program, many of your students, it's going to be out of reach for them because they might have jobs, they might have family commitments or responsibilities and things like this. So it's important to decide that from the beginning, what type of program you want to build and who of your students, who do you want to, gear that towards, who do you want to make that available towards. At the same time, when you are deciding the length of the program, you might say, well, we want to see if our students, if they could possibly get the Gilman Scholarship. Well, that means that they're going to need to be in the country for 14 days, okay? So you could play it both ways. You say, okay, if we do the 14-day program, it might be out of reach for many of the students, but with the 14-day program, it might put it more in reach of students who have financial restraints, right? So they might be able to get scholarships. So it's important to balance that and to decide how long you want your program to be. I find that many times with community colleges, programs that are 10 nights, 12 nights, even programs that you want to put inside of a spring break period, 8 nights abroad, things like this, work very, very well. 14-night programs absolutely work as well. Once you kind of go beyond that 2-week period, it does prevent many of the students from participating. However, you guys do have a very large student population. Therefore, many of the students can go for longer programs, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, and stuff like that. How do you want to design your program? Is it going to be a city-stay program where they're primarily in one location for the majority of the trip? They can unpack. They can really get to know how to navigate that city, to build a relationship with that city, become part of it. I think city-stay programs, in my opinion, are some of the best, and I encourage everyone to take advantage of them. I think it's great when students can really build a relationship with a location. They can say, hey, I love that coffee shop that I go to every morning before we start our day. Or, I've made new friends while I've been here. I learned how to navigate the entire city with the public transportation. I can come back here confidently in the future. That's one reason I think city-state programs are excellent. Cross-country programs, is it going to be a program where you're visiting multiple cities in one destination? Yeah, in one country to take it all in. Also great, adds a lot of variety and adds a lot of diversity to the program and adds value to it. And then multi-country programs, are you going to be visiting multiple countries during your trip? If you are going to be visiting multiple countries, because we had a few trips last summer with Miami-Dade, make sure that all of your students have the proper visas for all of those countries, because that can be a challenging one. But we'll always find a way to help you manage that. Again, guys, I think that kind of in this topic, we're talking a little bit further down, but less is more on these trips. Less windshield time, less travel time, more time with the feet on the ground. I think that's kind of a more enriching experience for the students. Yeah, this is my opinion, but I think it's important to decide how you want to lay out your itinerary, because you're in charge of customizing it. This is your dream. This is your baby. You can bring it to life. Daily layout. How do you want to structure your day? Is your day going to be 100% field experience? Do you need classroom space? We can assist you with that. Is it going to be museum visits? You know, how much free time do you want to build into your day? You want to let the students be able to have time to explore on their own, you know, buddy system, of course, but to really have time to, you know, build their own relationship with the city. And do you want to have daily discussions, reflection time, these kind of things, you know? How do you want to structure your day? Again, like I said earlier, less is more when it comes to these, especially if you're new to building a program. I would encourage you to start with you know, possibly a city-state program with not too much jam-packed in. Start with less and then let it expand while you are abroad, because there's so many things that you can do and there's so many options. Instead of just having a constant go, 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 go. Many times with those types of itineraries, they're amazing. You see a lot, but at the same time, you didn't have the opportunity to really engage. So less is more. Yeah. And obviously choosing the right provider for you, the ones that listens to you, the one that wants to help you customize your program, the ones you have the best relationship with. You have the right to do all of this. This is your trip, your way, 100%. Okay. Can we continue to the next one?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, great. Now guys, while we're building a program, you have so much opportunity to really build a exceptional experience. You know, do you want your program to be ordinary? Do you want it to be extraordinary? You know, and I think it's really important when you're building it to look outside of the box and to come up with ideas that you can incorporate into your program that can only be experienced in that location. Okay. For example, in this photo right here, this is Nagima. She's in Peru, and they're at an organic farm in Peru. One stop along one of the many Inca trails that they're hiking on, and they stop and they learn about coffee cultivation. Right, so they're picking coffees, the fruit. They're learning how to take the shell off of it. They're doing it all by hand. They're learning how you dry it, and then after they've been dried, you know, for a few days, they take the ones that have already been dried. They learn how to roast them, and then they learn how to mash it down with the rock in the traditional way, and then they learn how to pour it through the, you know, in the traditional way as well, and then of course enjoy it. These kind of experiences, hands-on experiences that can only be experienced in that country or in other similar countries that offer that product, they're essential, and I encourage you to try to include as many of them as possible. So going to local markets, having the students split up and everybody buys different products and they come together and they do a cooking class together that evening, making a traditional dish. These are the things that are really unique that they're going to remember. If you would like to incorporate university visits, college visits, we can do that. If you want to have like intercambio experience, inter-exchanges with the local students there, this is all possible. You know, we can have our group. Let's imagine that you study law, okay? Business law. We have a request for this in Peru. And why not have the business law students that are going down to Peru to have an inter-exchange experience with the local Peruvian students at the local college for a portion, you know, in the mornings throughout their program. And then in the afternoons, they can have cultural activities and things like this. So all of this is possible. It just take the time to really zoom out a little bit and look at what can I build inside of this window that I have, this 8-day window, this 2-week window, however long it is, 6-week window. What experience can I provide to these students that's really, really unique? Because if they're going to spend, you know, $1,000, $2,000, even $3,000 on a program, let's make sure that it's an absolute life-enriching experience that they're going to remember forever, and that can only, you know, not something generic that they can experience, you know, at home. So I definitely encourage you to do that. If you need ideas, this is something we love to do. We love to brainstorm with faculty and get creative and build the most spectacular programs. That's our passion. That's what we love. So don't hesitate. Okay. Program budget. This is absolutely essential. It doesn't matter if you're a community college. It doesn't matter if you're a university, whatever, liberal arts college, everything in between. affordability is the most important thing to all programs. If the program's not affordable and it's not within reach of students, you're limiting your chances of the program being successful. And there's ways to bring the budget down on your program without sacrificing quality. There's many ways to do this. And the important thing is to understand what the cost is of all the things that are in your program. It's important, like, you know, if you have an itinerary that's completely jam-packed with all these excursions, activities, and things like this, each of those comes with a price tag. So it's important to decide what is essential to your itinerary, what's not essential, and the things that are not essential, why don't we make those optional activities? And we can make those optional activities during an allocated time, where during that time, we can also have optional activities that are free of charge, that the students that don't have budget can take advantage of. And the students that do have a little bit more budget, they have the time, that time to go do the optional activities that aren't essential to the course, but you know, they want to experience. So they have that option. Accommodation types. This is very important. Do you want to stay in a chain hotel surrounded by tourists during your program? There's nothing wrong with this, but it raises the price quite a bit, right? Or do you want to look at more affordable options, staying in family-run establishments, guest houses? If the school permits and the research has been done and risk management approves it, how about we do homestays, right? How about top quality youth hostels that have that are clean, that are safe, that are very modern, that have international travelers from around the world, and also have communal areas where the group can get together and do communal meals, right? So these are things that can really, you know, determine what the final budget is. Transportation. Are we going to have a coach trip or on a private bus the whole time? Or are we going to utilize public transportation as the locals do? Obviously, that depends on your location, and it depends on the type of program, right? If you're doing a city-state program in London, well, then you should just be using the tube or the double-decker buses the entire time. If you're, you know, in Peru, since the photo here is in Peru, if we're talking about Peru, I would prefer to use a private transportation, just because the public transportation is extremely packed. It's extremely packed. It might not be, you know, reliable on time, and it might be difficult to get the entire group into the bus with seats. So determining your type of transportation, right? More often than not, we find that authentic equals affordable and affordable equals authentic, right? So without sacrificing quality, you can raise the authenticity of your program, and you can bring the price down by doing as the locals do, doing it the local way, the local life, okay? Professor to student ratio, this is very important, okay? Many people, can I ask, just for the directors at Miami-Dade, what is the internal policy for student ratio?
Yes, if it's one faculty traveling, no, he can hear me. You can hear me, right?
100%, yeah.
15 students per the first faculty, and okay. 12 students for the second faculty. So
okay.
If faculty are traveling, 27 students. Wow.
Okay, so that is an amazing ratio to keep programs affordable. Because I was going to give an example that was on the other end, which is often you'll hear people talk about ratios of like 6 to 1 and things like this, which is great. But when you do that, when you do a 6 to 1, it makes the price so much higher for the students, because 6 students are absorbing the cost of the professor now instead of 15. It makes it out of reach of the majority, right? So if you guys have 15 to 1, that's amazing, because for a few reasons. One, it allows us to get group airfare, which normally you have to have 10 people, so we can guarantee group airfare for 1 year at that time. And secondly, it's going to keep the price way down. And is 15 the minimum at Miami-Dade for a course to make? Is that why you guys set it at 15?
Depending on the course.
He can't hear our mic. No, yes, he can.
There's the computer. Yeah.
Depending on the course?
Depending on the course. So for study abroad, it's always 15.
Okay. Okay, great. Are you guys offering, are most of the courses special topics courses, or are they actual, are they like 3 credit hour, like gen ed courses and stuff like this?
A combination.
A combination? Okay. Okay, great. All right, let's move on here really quick. Okay, guys, this is really, really essential. This is both for administration and for faculty, okay? Program promotion. This is a picture. This is 10 years ago. I promise you that is not the same shirt that I'm wearing right now. I did change my shirt, but this is 10 years ago. I was assisting the Oklahoma City Community College with promoting their programs, okay? We had a table set up in the student union, and we did it twice a week. Student union, when people would go for coffees there was a little Starbucks stand, or they'd be going to, you know, to all the different food restaurants or whatever. By setting up this table, I had on average around 60 students that would stop during that time to find out about study abroad programs that were available on the campus. The reason we did this is because we realized that the website, the campus newsletter, the you know, email blasts and all this, it wasn't enough because each student's different. You know, many students, they don't check their school email, unfortunately. They never check it, right? Many students never go to the student union. Many students, you know, they never pick up the campus newspapers. So you have to find any way possible to put this message in front of them and say, hey, we have amazing international educational opportunities available to you where you can get college credit, you can explore the world in a safe way, and you can grow as a person, because these are definitely enriching programs. So these are steps that we've used at many colleges and universities from all different sizes, and they work. They are, they're effective, they're successful. And we have 10 of them. It's called 10 Steps Guaranteed to Increase Study Abroad Participation. And I'll send you that. That's a whole nother presentation as well. But I encourage you to experiment with these if you're not already doing so, okay? So first of all, make sure that your website is easy to navigate, okay? Make sure they can find all the information they need. Next, let's build a study abroad culture on the campus. We can do this with the international students. Let's organize study abroad fairs. You can do a study abroad fair in the fall. You can do it in the spring. You can have, during that study abroad fair, the faculty can come together. Students can come in. They know there's a study abroad fair going on. They can find out all of the information they need about the programs in one location at one time. You can also call in the local passport providers, the post office. They can come in. They can sign people up for their passports right there on the spot. All this amazing. And you can build it in with the international students as well. And you can have it all about international education. And what better time to do that than International Education Week, which is right now. So, you know, so that's just an idea for the future. Campus-wide email blast. Not all schools are permitted to do this. If you are, I would suggest that you send one email in the fall, one email in the spring. Let the students know these opportunities are available. These are set dates for informational meetings. This is a link to the website. We're going to be having coffee break sessions and informational sessions during this time. Everything, you know, so it's not spam mail, but everything in one email, all of the offerings in one go. And you'll see your enrollment just skyrocket. Webinar sessions, so important. People are on multiple campuses. People have jobs. People have life commitments. People, it's different. And I'm proud of you. Everybody here got into one room in one time. I never see this. Normally I have 20 people calling from all over. So this is amazing that everybody was able to get together at one time. Thank you for coming in. But webinar sessions are so important because you can record them and then people can refer back to the links at later times, right? When they have a calm moment in their life, right? Students who have been on programs, they can come back and they can be there to tell all about their experience, right? Informational table, like I mentioned, many, many ways. I'll send this all to you, but these are all successful ways and effective ways of promoting your programs on the campuses. All right, pre-trip orientation. Guys, safety is the #1 priority always. You've probably seen at the bottom of the slide, we have here listed safety, education, authenticity, affordability, sustainability. These are our core values, okay? We want to make sure that every program's safe, educational, in depth, authentic as possible, affordable as possible, and sustainable. Sustainable in the way that the program makes every year, and also smart eco travel sustainable. You know, we want to avoid plastic on our trips. We want to plant trees when we travel to offset our carbon emissions. We want to help local communities everywhere we travel. This is what we mean by sustainable. Okay. So for every trip that we do, we have a pre-trip orientation with you guys, and we sit down and we go over the entire itinerary with the group. Normally our local guide group leader calls in for that if the time difference permits. Sometimes it might be 3 in the morning for them or something like this. So, you know, we'll have somebody else who's experienced step in, but it's essential that we get everybody together prior to the trip and we go over a few things. We want to go over smart travel. We want to go over the do's and the don'ts. We want to go over packing. We want to avoid those situations where they bring a huge 6-month suitcase and it's, you know, packed for the wrong climate. You know, flight information, what type of money we're going to be using, to make sure that you call your bank prior to traveling so your cards don't get blocked. All of these kind of things. Most importantly, what we like to do at these meetings is get everybody connected on WhatsApp, so we can set up the group chat on WhatsApp and everybody can communicate in one platform while we're traveling. And the great thing about WhatsApp when you're traveling is that there's the share location. If anybody gets separated from the group, they can find the nearest place with Wi-Fi, or they have an international data plan and they can say, hey guys, I'm here in this location. I lost you. I don't know where you are. Can somebody please come pick me up? And we have a live location on that person and we can go swoop them up and we can continue the program, right? This also allows a great opportunity for you guys to make sure that all the students have completed necessary forms that they need to complete, that they all have their insurance, all of this. Yeah, so this is essential. Normally we do this about 4 to 6 weeks before the trip. The earlier the better, because sometimes students forget to get their passport and it's 4 weeks before the trip and it's like, okay, seriously, you have to go get your passport now. And yeah, it's just a great time to get everybody together, to get everybody on the same page, to allow them opportunities to ask as many questions as they have about where they're going. And it really, really avoids a lot of potential issues. And it's something that we make the time to do with every single program because it's very important. Moving on-ground briefings. So basically, once you're traveling and you've landed in the country, and it's important to do pretty much the same thing. Get everyone in one location. Guys, we're here now. We're in Ecuador. We're in Italy. We're in China, wherever it may be. And they're excited. They're exhausted. They've been traveling for 24 hours or more. And it's really important to get everybody at that point together and say, okay, what are our emergency protocols? Here are the contact numbers. This is where we are. This is where local ATM is, local pharmacy, all these kind of things. What do we do in case of emergency? Who is your travel buddy? These are your guides and your group leaders. You know, they're going to take care of you the whole time. So ask them any questions. And to really get everybody excited, but also prepared. And, you know, hey guys, be careful for your wallets. You know, I know you guys live in Miami. A lot of travelers that we have, you know, they're from rural, small towns, and, you know, everybody knows everybody and you never had to worry about a pickpocket, right? But, you know, you go to some destinations and, for example, in Madrid in Spain, it's notorious for the metro directly from the airport to the city center. Pickpockets are all over the place. The last thing you want to do is to have your students arrive in the country and lose all their travel money from step one. So this is one of the most important things that your group leader already knows to do this. That'll be the first thing that they should do. But it's really, really essential that right as you hit the ground, you say, okay, guys, wake up. I know you've been traveling overnight, but we're here now and we need to pay attention so we can avoid all these issues and we can have an amazing experience, right? That's what we try to go for. During your program, I highly suggest that you do morning briefings and evening briefings. So after they've had breakfast and they're caffeinated, say, okay, guys, this is what's going on for the day, and explain them, you know, what's going to happen, what they need to bring with them, you know, how many miles or kilometers you're going to be walking, all these kind of things that they should have in their day pack or whatever it is, wherever you are. Make sure that they're ready for the day. Okay. Your guide's going to do this. Your group leader is going to do this, but it's important that we try to get into that habit. And then in the evening, one second, I I apologize. One second. Can you hear my phone ringing? I apologize. It's calling through my email. There we go. All right. Apologies. So evening discussions, if you can find a time at the end of the day before you let them go have free time, cultural immersion, brief them on what's going to happen tomorrow, and check in on the group. Find out, hey, is everybody doing okay? Is everybody feeling okay? Is anybody sick? Does anybody have any kind of, things that they need to talk about? Let us know now instead of later, because if you let us know now, we can fix it for you. And by getting daily feedback like that, we can avoid all kinds of problems and issues, and it really sets the way for extremely smooth trip, which comes in here at your post trip is when you get your feedback. If you've done all of these steps throughout the entire program, you're going to have 5-star feedback at the end of the trip. The students are going to come back. You're going to have a great opportunity to get testimonials, video testimonials, written testimonials, etc. We have a great video of Miami-Dade from last year in Ecuador with the Galapagos program, and it's some of the best testimonials I've heard from students. I would like to share that with you. I don't want to overspeak in my time, but if there is time at the end of your session, I would love to share just a little tiny bit for you so you can see some of your own students. But yeah, collect the feedback from them, file any reports if necessary, and then pump those testimonials and all that information back into the campus newspaper so more students can read about it word of mouth, and let's fill those trips up for the next year. Look at your itinerary, modify it, say, I didn't like this, I did like this, I think this would be better on day 2 instead of day 3, etc. Let's not get that guy again, he was a little weird. Whatever it may be, modify, adjust, and improve it, and then keep traveling. So guys, those are basically the A to the Z, the study abroad 101 for faculty led. If you have any questions at all, you can reach out to me. This is my cell phone, this is my email. You can reach out to your study abroad advisors. We're happy to help you with anything, brainstorming, marketing, whatever. It's our pleasure. We love it. It's our passion. So in any way we can help, let us know. And I want to thank you for your time. And I hope that we have the chance to travel with you or assist you in some way in the future. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Do you guys have any questions for me at all? I know I've taken a lot of time.
There's one question.
Yes.
I'm a faculty here at Miami-Dade. Where do you guys go besides Europe and China?
Where do we go? Everywhere in the world that's safe to travel.
Okay.
If it's a new destination where we don't have on-ground team, one of either Leonardo or myself will personally go there prior and do the groundwork and build the team. That's kind of a research, opening a new destination. If it is a new destination that we haven't worked in, we immediately team up with a local university or college and the local Rotary programs. I was a Rotary exchange student, and they're extremely helpful in connecting you with the universities, the colleges, etc. And anyway, just out of curiosity, where are you envisioning?
Actually, we were planning to do something with the Bahamas, but for schools, especially the island that the children they didn't have yet. And we wanted to do some sort of circus. And I don't know, for next year or the year after that. So it's in the brainstorm session.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't decided yet as an organization, when we're gonna do it, but since they're gonna need help for a long term, and we think it would be valuable for us to help in the academic side, meaning the school, the schools. Because that's mainly what we, in my department, that's what I focus on.
That's an excellent program idea. We're actually doing a very similar program like that with Valencia College out of Orlando. Many of their students were from Bahamas, and when the hurricane hit earlier this year, back in the fall, it was devastating for many of them. And, you know, they decided at that point, why don't we do service learning programs, you know, in destinations that are close to home that have been, you know, affected by these horrible natural disasters. And yeah, that's an amazing program. And I would definitely, we'd like to hear your ideas about it and contribute in any way possible, especially because I assume that you have a lot of students who are from there.
We have a variety, yes, because I'm thinking college-wide. It's our organization, the Florida Future Educators of America, which is a college-wide organization, and yes, we do have from different campuses some Bahamian students. Yeah.
Can you? I lost your the volume there for a second. What was the name of the college-wide organization?
The Florida Future Educators of America.
Okay, great. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, no, beautiful. And anytime you do something that's college-wide or consortium-wide is amazing. You know, we do consortium-wide programs for Florida Consortium of International Education, FCIE, and it's great whenever you can have multiple campuses. You know, collaborative programs. If it's a program that's just multi-focus, that's excellent as well, because you can bring in students from different parts of the campus who might have never had a chance to interact with each other, you know? So anytime you can collaborate, great. And yeah, long story short, we would love to hear your ideas for service learning in the Bahamas and to make them a reality.
Thank you. Thank you, Christian. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for your time.
My pleasure. Everybody have a lovely day. And later on, if you do want to see a little bit of that, you know what I'll do? I'll send you an email with the video of your group from Ecuador last summer.
Actually, please do, because I know Dean Override was interested in seeing that. So we just want to make sure that we give enough time to the other speakers.
Of course, of course. I appreciate your time. Thank you, guys.
No, thank you, and please share that with us.
I will right away. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right. In meeting.